All right, so why don't we go ahead and get started. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us here at Samsung Developer Conference 2019, and a special thank you to the audience members here for participating in our panel discussion. We've got a pretty good conversation for this afternoon to discuss digital marketing and e-commerce as it relates to smart appliances. So we're hopeful that through our conversation, you guys will generate some ideas, maybe have some inspirations about how you can develop different types of features, services, content to display for consumers at a global scale through our smart appliances. We've got special guest panelists today, and I'll go ahead and introduce them momentarily. But before I do, I wanted to provide you guys with a little bit of an overview of what Samsung is doing from a smart appliance and smart home perspective. So having said that, I'm going to play you guys a little video here that we found on YouTube.
Far from the shallow now. In the shallow, shallow. In the shallow, shallow. What are you doing? Hey!
2018 Power Ballad Shallow.
Are you just singing a duet with a refrigerator?
Well, yeah, apparently Bridget has a karaoke function. So I was just standing here eating my turkey and apple sandwich when suddenly...
Apples on a sandwich?
Yeah, Bridget. She's opening me up to new experiences.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, aren't you supposed to be at work?
Well, I came home to make you a special lunch, but apparently that's already been taken care of.
Mitchell, would you like some watermelon for dessert?
No, that's okay, Bridget. Thank you. I just got him some fresh cantaloupes, so we're good.
Mitchell doesn't like cantaloupe.
Oh, yeah, right. Of course he does.
Actually, I've never been a fan.
Really? Well, what else does Bridget know about you that I don't? Is she allowed to meet your work friends?
You can't seriously be jealous.
No, well, it's just that I thought we were going to enjoy her together. I didn't count on being the third wheel.
Cam.
No, it's obvious that I'm not wanted here, so I'll leave you to your apples on sandwiches and whatever other perversions you two are into.
Are you hearing yourself? It's a refrigerator. Do you see what I mean about him?
All right, so thank you to our friends at Modern Family and ABC News for featuring Family Hub, our premier smart appliance, on their show. So that's kind of a testament as to how smart appliances are becoming so much more mainstream in the marketplace today. But why do people make things like smart appliances? Why do companies innovate and introduce new technology into the market? Obviously, it's about the customers, providing consumers with value, with additional capabilities, content, services, solving for needs. And that's what I believe we're all aiming to do as companies developing new capabilities. So having said that, Samsung distributes smart appliances at a scale greater than any other appliance manufacturer in the world. Today, we distribute smart appliances in over 35 different countries all over the world. In addition to that, if you focus specifically on the Family Hub smart refrigerator, we introduced this product into the market about 3 years ago, and we had 2 models that were being sold into the marketplace. But now we have over 20 different refrigerator models that are retrofitted with this Family Hub platform. And we expect that to expand as time progresses. Our goal is to ensure that the smart platform is enabled on all smart appliances going forward. Not only that, our partnership ecosystem has exploded. We provide a lot of services and capabilities natively through Samsung, but there's a lot of things that we can't do ourselves. And we leverage the power of partnerships with wonderful companies like Kraft Heinz, Amazon, Whisk, who are all represented here at the panel today, to provide different types of content and services and applications to our customers. In addition to that, I wanted to ask a question to the audience. How How many times do you guys think an average family of 4 goes to the refrigerator on a daily basis? Anyone want to throw out a number? 50? Okay. 40. Okay. Any other guesses? I think the lady back here gets a prize. It's 40. It's actually 41.1 times a day. An average family of 4 interacts with the refrigerator. That's a lot of engagement points. And that's the fact that a lot of our partners, our developers, and companies that we work with are very interested in, because this engagement point is something that's valuable to everybody. In addition to that, the refrigerator obviously is in the kitchen. That's considered the center of the home, a highly trafficked area of the home. And the kitchen has transformed as not just a sort of utilitarian space where consumers or families prepare meals and consume meals, but now families gather in the kitchen. They spend a lot of time in the kitchen. They entertain guests in the kitchen. Furthermore, the refrigerator has a very long product life. You're not going to switch it out for the latest and greatest one that comes out every other year or every year. Once you purchase a refrigerator, it lasts for upwards of 10 to 15 years. You not only have this high level of interaction on a daily basis, but developers and partners have the ability to get your services and content and applications in front of consumers for a very, very long time as part of this ecosystem. And then who buys smart refrigerators, right? Right now, the price points have become much more affordable. So we have models down in the $2,000 price range, all the way up until over $10,000, depending on the fit and finish. Having said that, the general demographics that currently purchases our product is going to be middle to high-income families. And then, of course, who buys a refrigerator with a voice and touch-enabled 21.5-inch tablet display on the front of it? Early adopters, tech-savvy people, people who are more inclined to leverage digital content, consume digital materials, shop online, e-commerce, those types of things. So we feel that it provides a lot of value to our partners, to our developers, and to consumers to be able to engage with the brands that they know, love, and trust. So having said that, and to put that into perspective, I'll go ahead and introduce our guest panelists. And then I put a lot of thought into these questions, guys. I prepared some questions, and through our conversation, we're hopeful that, again, it'll generate some ideas, some inspirations about what you guys might be able to do with companies like the Krafts of the world, with Amazons of the world, startups like Whisks of the world, or even Samsung. So let's think about that as we introduce our special guest panelists. So immediately to my left is Ryan Watson. He's the Vice President of Media Platforms and Marketing AI from Kraft Heinz. Next to Ryan, we have Pia Ambardar. She's the Senior Manager of Business Development at Amazon. And then at the end, we have Nick Holzherr. He's the CEO and founder of Whisk, a food technology company. So I'll go ahead and open up my first question, and it's very random. Maybe to Ryan, perhaps?
All right.
So companies globally are transforming. Even Samsung is going through a form of transition. We've been traditionally known as sort of a device appliance manufacturer, but we're stepping into the digital space, into contents and services. And it looks like Kraft Heinz is doing a lot of the same thing. You guys are transforming as a company as well. There's a lot of great things that are going on from the Kraft Heinz perspective. And one of the things that we're collaborating on is enabling great recipe content within our Smart Recipes application on the Family Hub Smart Refrigerator. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the changes that are going on from Kraft Heinz perspective?
Yeah, a lot of changes. So, if you think about where we're coming from as a company, Kraft Heinz, I think a lot of people see the brand names Kraft and Heinz. In reality, we're today a house of siloed brands. So we have a little bit north of 150 brands, represents about $26 billion in sales. And we have almost 99% household penetration in the US. So our challenge going forward is not penetrating households, and that's kind of the language with which CPG companies think about the world. Our goal is how do we make people aware that we do have these other 148 brands under our roof? So what we're talking about today is super topical and really important for myself and my organization's mission, which is at a very high level, how do we change how a really old legacy CPG company markets and engages with consumers? So winding the clock back about a year ago, our board and CEO came to our CMO at the time and myself and said, we need to evolve and grow. The year is 2018 at the time, 2019 now, and we're still marketing, and it feels kind of like how we marketed 10, 20, 30 years ago. Platforms have changed a little bit. Somebody from Pinterest was just up on the stage, so we do things with some new social platforms. But you think about the CPG world, it's still stuck in this very probabilistic shout from the rooftops through a megaphone, generic messaging at 10, 20 million people at a time. Again, that was fine 20, 30 years ago. That doesn't really make sense anymore in 2019. So what we're focused on is a couple things. Number one, how do we know who our consumer actually is? And the argument I always have is our customer's not Walmart, customer's not Amazon, our customer's not millennial moms. Those are all very important intermediaries and partners for us. And millennial moms is a great way in the past to understand large swaths of the population. What we really want to understand is who is David, who is Ryan, who's Pia, who's Nick. Like the individuals are the people that are ultimately buying our product. So number one is who's our customer. Number two is how do we identify actionable signals in real time? And then number three, how do we drive what we call personalization at scale? So my organization broadly owns content marketing, and that's really topical in what we're going to talk about today. So we're producing about, our library today is 60,000 recipes and lifestyle articles. And today we're starting to publish that out through the Family Hub. We're partnering very closely with Whisk on some commerce features, and people can then buy through Amazon. So it's kind of the full value chain up here. But for us, again, it's really who are these people? How do we create engaging content to pull them into our ecosystem and our portfolio of brands? And then over time, how do we introduce them to more of those brands? But we want to do that in a very organic way. I think that's what we love so much about the emerging partnership with Samsung is that, again, this is the center of the house. This is not something that we're forcing down people's throat with out-of-home billboard, TV advertisement. Like we really want to understand who that individual is at a person level based on the data we have, the data Samsung has, and then personalize the messaging to them and ultimately tie that into content. That's what we're going to talk about today, which is very exciting.
Very cool. Yeah, we're definitely looking at personalization from our perspective as well, understanding the user, what their needs are, and making sure that our products provide the value propositions. Oftentimes, it takes partnerships and working with other organizations to make things like that happen.
Absolutely.
All right, so Pia, I've got a question for you. So Amazon's been a pretty key partner of ours for a very long time. We've launched a bunch of different features and applications together. We're actually demoing some of these technologies in our booth space outside today. So having said that, can you tell us a little bit more about the future of Dash replenishment services, DRS, and virtual Dash buttons?
Yeah, happy to. Maybe first I'll just give a little bit more context on sort of what those technologies are and Amazon's thinking behind those. So at a high level at Amazon, and I'm responsible for business development for our replenishment and smart home technologies. We believe one day in the not too distant future, the home is just going to simply take care of itself. And when we look at the types of partners that can help us make that dream a reality, Samsung is right up there with the best of them in terms of the international presence that David showed a few minutes ago, in terms of their brand strength, in terms of the quality and sophistication of their products. So we have had a great partnership with Samsung over the past 2 to 3 years, and we've launched some pretty amazing products. Specifically, our Dash replenishment service, which for those of you who may not know is our automated reordering service, which allows smart devices to automatically reorder their own consumables. So for example, a smart washing machine that reorders its own detergent, or a smart coffee machine that reorders its own coffee. So we have integrated that technology into almost all of Samsung's smart appliances at this point. So washers, dryers, dishwashers. And so that's a fantastic convenience and benefit that we're able to deliver for customers together. An additional one is, so speaking about Family Hub, which is a fantastic product, our virtual dash button service is a one-click shopping experience. So basically from the screen of Family Hub, you have your virtual dash buttons that get pulled in basically from your Amazon mobile shopping app, and you're able to, with one click, reorder the things that you use most frequently from your fridge, which is pretty amazing as well. So those are some of the integrations that we've launched so far, and we have a few more that are coming before the end of the year, actually, which I unfortunately can't talk about right now. But in terms of where Dash Replenishment is going, we recently announced about a month ago that Dash Replenishment is now going to be part of Alexa. So it's just another thing that Alexa is going to be able to do. And what that means is, from a developer perspective, replenishment is becoming a feature of the Smart Home Skill API. And so automatic replenishment, or even just notifying customers when they're running low on something, is just another capability now that Alexa can do, in addition to all the other features that she already helps you control your devices with. So from a customer's perspective, Alexa is going to be able to notify them when they are running low on, using my prior examples, coffee, detergent, whatever it might be for their smart devices, and then ask customers if they would like to be enrolled in automatic reordering. From a developer's perspective, this is actually a fantastic step forward. It's actually a lot less effort to integrate Dash Replenishment through your Alexa skill than it would be to create it as a standalone feature. So just we're talking about like a few days of work versus weeks or months before. So this is something that we think is going to be really exciting for developers. And enable you to add replenishment to your smart device, and from there actually monetize your smart device, because Amazon pays a fee for every item that's ordered through your device, pays the developer. So really exciting opportunities that we have for developers coming up with now, sort of are merging within Alexa Smart Home.
Great. Yeah, if you think about it, Amazon is kind of pioneering e-commerce activities, and initially you guys took the purchasing experience from a multi-click experience all the way down to one click, and now you're taking that experience to even a zero-click consumer experience where smart devices like our Samsung smart washers have the ability to track how much detergent is available, and then based on the level of detergent available, we can leverage the power of Amazon's APIs to send orders automatically from the device over to Amazon for fulfillment of your family's preferred brand of detergents. So I'm proud to announce that we not only launched this capability across Europe, but here in North America as well. And then we just recently are enabling a half a dozen additional washer and dryer models actually this month is when we're going to be launching that. So very exciting.
Absolutely.
All right, so next, question for Nick. So your team works with some of the largest brands across food, technology, content, media, all over the world, right? And some of those are right here with us today. Kraft, Amazon, your team works with them as well. In addition to that, you've launched a pretty powerful ecosystem of partners and capabilities across food technology. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Whisk platform and how developers can partner with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially, it's a food AI platform that helps other businesses create smarter and more connected experiences. What that means is we have an API layer, and anybody can use the different building blocks we have to build their own applications. So we power experiences for some of the biggest recipe publishers, grocery retailers, CPG brands, even like health companies like the NHS in the UK, National Health Service. And what we essentially do, we reason around recipe content, products, anything to do in the food space, user preferences, what the user likes, dislikes, what their activity is across different experiences. So today, we power about 500 million monthly actions across the network of players we work with in the US, UK, Europe, and more recently in Asia as well. Essentially, we have a dev portal. There's two kind of sides to it. One, you can just, if you want to reason around recipe content or products, whatever, you can build your own application on that. And the second part is what we call the open food platform, which allows any developer or any business unit in Samsung to essentially share the recipes that the user saved, the user's shopping list, or any of their personal preferences with other applications. So basically, the user owns the data in the application they're using at the time, and that's then shared across any other interaction point the user goes. So what that means for someone like Samsung is you're on a fridge, and you maybe start a shopping list. You then go to a recipe site and add something, and it will magically appear on your family hub. Or you want to go from your family hub to the oven, it'll send the right data to the oven to do that. Or you want to sync your mobile phone app to that as well. So that's all available in the dev portal. We work with different divisions across Samsung. We work with some of the biggest players around the world in this as well, connecting both of them together. We also, if anybody here is a developer and is interested in using any of this stuff or trying it out, we have a globally distributed hackathon that we're running in February, which is sponsored by Upwork. So please do come to our booth and play around with it, and our developers can show you exactly how the platform works.
Very cool. Yeah, so we found Nick's technology so cool that we actually bought them. So Nick is a Samsung man now, right?
I am.
Yeah, welcome to the family.
Thanks, David.
All right, so moving on, let's go back over to Ryan. So we alluded to the fact that we launched great recipe content from Kraft Heinz, My Food and Family website, into Family Hub. So now consumers that have the Family Hub product, our smart refrigerator, has access to great content from a brand that consumers know, love, and trust, like Kraft Heinz. So having said that, your team has been wonderful to work with, obviously. Can you tell us a little bit more about your team's experience in working with Samsung and perhaps some advice to the audience about what to look for when two large companies or developers are working together on collaborative projects?
Yeah, the large company thing's always fun. So, I think just to step back, so the user experience that we have today and where we ideally want to get to in the future is going from today, as David mentioned, we're publishing our recipe-related content through the Family Hub. And then on the back of that, there's some commerce functionality integrating with Whisk and then retailers like the Amazons of the world. That's great. And again, for us, the value is having this pride of place in the center of home, big, beautiful display. It's in context, so somebody's opening up their refrigerator. They're seeing that they have, Philadelphia cream cheese or Grey Poupon mustard out of our portfolio. They get inspired to make something. They can find a recipe and then ideally buy ingredients they don't have. That's great. Where we'd love to get to in the future, and I think one of the great things and the exciting things for us about working with Samsung is just the breadth of devices, technologies. Bixby was up here before. So ideally, where we'd love to get to, you can kind of step back and think, God, how cool would that be if I was, I was in my kitchen, inspired, it's the holiday time, I want to make a pumpkin cheesecake. Tell Bixby, this is what I want to make. Bixby then somehow is integrating with the Family Hub, knows what ingredients you have, knows what recipes and content maybe that user's historically engaged with out of our library. There's an integration with Whisk and Amazon and others to buy ingredients you don't have. I mean, you can easily start to vision cast about what this kitchen and the home of the future looks like. So the exciting thing for us is being able to come to a partner like Samsung and under one roof have great voice hardware across wearables, different homes or different rooms in the house. There's a commerce play, there's a content play. So for a CPG company that's trying to branch out from just producing things and selling them through retailers and getting into content and commerce, that's really the really exciting part for us with somebody like Samsung. I think on the question specifically of what's it like on the integration side, what's it like working with large companies, I'd say the integration is actually surprisingly easy. I think a company like Samsung has such a depth of technical talent that for us it was relatively easy to scope out. Here's the vision. Here's the user experience. This is something they've done before. So there was a roadmap out there about how to integrate content into smart appliances. And then Nick and his team have some really powerful technologies as well to pull in that kind of end monetization piece that we talked about before. So these things are never without hiccups and hurdles, but I'd say there was nothing unexpected, and the progress was actually a lot faster than I would have expected working at a very large company, working with another very large company.
Yeah, definitely. The benefits of working with a company like Samsung, as you alluded to, is the expansive breadth of devices and the ability for us to get, again, our partners' content, services, applications, or even just the brand in front of consumers at this tremendously global scale. So having said that, I wanted to ask another audience question here. What percentage of the United States households has at least one Samsung device within that home? Do you guys know what percentage of US households has at least one Samsung device within the household? 63? Okay. That's a good number.
Planted answer.
70, okay. 45. 100. There you go. I like that guy. It's not 100%, unfortunately. It is about 70%. 70% of the US households have at least one Samsung device within their house, within their home. And over 40%, about 43%, has at least two or more devices. So that's a testament as to how we have the ability to, again, get our developers and partners' content and capabilities in front of consumers at such a mass scale. So thank you for bringing that up. I really appreciate that.
That was not planted, by the way.
All right, Pia, another question for you. So you guys recently made some huge announcements about like over 80 different new services and devices and wearables and everything else you can think of. Wow.
Yeah. It's a busy year.
Yeah. Must have been pretty crazy over there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because it's so exciting.
Yeah, sure. I'm not going to tell you about all of it, because neither have knowledge nor the time. But I think there are some really interesting key things that would be interesting for you guys. So we did announce, like you said, about 80 plus devices, features, services, developer tools about a month ago. And really the intention behind all of them was to help make customers' homes simpler, smarter, and safer. And some of the key initiatives, I'll talk about a couple sort of in each of those buckets. So for simpler, the biggest point of feedback that we continuously get from customers, and Samsung hears this too, is that there is too much friction in the setup process. In this new world of smart devices, of smart home, it should just not be that hard to connect your device to Wi-Fi, i.e. the very first step before you can have any further engagement with your device. So we launched our frustration-free setup initiative, which has a few different elements to it that tries to really remove the friction in the setup process. Using our simple setup technology, any device maker, if the item is sold on Amazon, any device maker can take advantage of our simple setup technology such that once the customer plugs in the device and turns it on, it automatically connects to Wi-Fi. And the way that it works is we're actually able to share the customer's saved Wi-Fi information that we have because they purchased the device through Amazon. We're able to share that with your cloud, and the device is able to come online instantly. If the device is sold off of Amazon, we have a solution for that as well. It's a 2D barcode solution, which, while maybe not quite as simple as a one-step like that, it drastically reduces the number of steps that a customer normally would have to take to connect the device to Wi-Fi. And in addition, we also announced something called app-to-app linking, which actually allows, after the Wi-Fi setup has gotten complete, it allows the customer to enable your skill from your app. So no longer do customers have to be moving between your app, the Alexa app, whatever it might be, in order to enable their skill and get the capabilities going. They can do it right within your app, and they can also link their Alexa account to your account. Again, saving a lot of time and effort and frustration for the customer. So that's an example of how we're making things simpler. From a smarter perspective, one of the key ways we're making Alexa smarter is dash replenishment through Alexa, as I talked about before, in which Alexa is now able to basically just tell you when you're running low on things and reorder them for you from a voice experience. We often hear from customers that they perceive that functionality to be table stakes when it comes to owning a smart device. Yeah, of course, if I'm going to buy a smart coffee maker, of course it should be able to tell me when I'm running low. And, oh yeah, it'd be nice if it ordered it for me too. So we think this is really a key piece of making Alexa smarter. In addition to that, we also released a whole host of new smart home API features that enable more natural language, natural voice, and complete control over devices. So now you can say things like, Alexa, open my garage door, instead of Alexa, set my garage door mode to open. So things like that that are just continuously improving the experience. And we also announced a bunch of new advances to our cooking APIs that expand the modes and functions that are able to be operated through our cooking APIs as well. So a lot of things that are making it smarter. And then from a safety perspective, you may have heard of Alexa Guard, which allows Alexa to basically detect sounds such as breaking glass or smoke alarms and alert the user, so giving customers that peace of mind. The new feature here is that it's able to detect even more noises like footsteps or a faucet turning on when you're out of the home and alert you when you're in basically away mode. So you can set Alexa Guard to away mode and receive alerts if something's going wrong in your home when you're not there. We think that is a huge part of the value that smart home can deliver to customers, and then combining it also with the routine aspect. So just leaving your house saying, Alexa, I'm headed out, and your doors lock, your lights turn off, and Alexa Guard is set to away mode, and you're done. We have already, I think, 85,000 devices that are Alexa enabled, and we are pretty excited that these new features and services that we launched are going to continue to accelerate that growth for customers.
Wow, very cool. Mm-hmm. How many of you guys in the audience use Alexa today? Raise hands. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot. Congratulations. That's pretty awesome. Okay.
I guess I should have warned them. I was going to say the A word a lot.
I guess so.
The B word.
We're supposed to say the B word, yeah. All right, so next question to Nick. So from a developer and startup perspective, what was the inspiration behind Whisk and food technology and you entering into this space? And then in addition to that, now that you're part of Samsung and you've kind of experienced working with a large corporation like us, as well as companies like Kraft and Amazon, can you give the audience a little perspective or guidance on what you find helpful in working with large enterprises?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been working with large companies, I think, right from the start, but Samsung's a little bit new to me. So I founded the company about 7-8 years ago, was acquired about 6 months ago, so I guess maybe still figuring out some of the stuff around how to work with Samsung. But it's been great. I mean, to your question, what was my inspiration? Why did I start? It was a personal problem, which was I spend a lot of time looking at content, recipe content. I end up cooking the same recipes again and again. How do I bridge that gap and actually action a bit more of what the stuff I aspire to? It took us a few iterations to get to the answer where we are now as a product, which was building an API platform is the way to do it. And then to get that to scale took us a while as well. It works like a marketplace so that a publisher integrates with us, because once they integrate with us, A, the technology's all there, but B, we have all these other partners in the ecosystem already which they can connect to. So we have all these big retailers. And then on the retail side, it works the same way. They integrate with us because they integrate once into Whisk, and then they appear on all of the different integrations that we have, all the different publishers and platforms like Family Hub. And as that started to scale, as that marketplace started to scale, we realized actually there's health companies that wanted to take advantage of that, obviously IoT companies like Samsung. And then about 2015, so we founded the company in 2011. 2016 was when we started working with Samsung, originally just like in one country. And then they were like, hey, can we scale this everywhere in the world and across all the apps that we have on the Family Hub that are food related? And we're like, yeah, sure. And then a huge amount of way more traffic than we expected sort of came along. And I think generally the thing that's been kind of consistent as an experience with big companies is patience, being super clear with what the proposition is into the company. But I think the real advantage is you have that patience with a large enterprise, because as a startup, you have very short-term goals of like, I need to get this fixed in 3 months. But as an enterprise, you have like yearly goals. So those two often don't quite fit. So startups going, I need to get this deal because otherwise I run out of cash. And an enterprise is like, well, I have got to deliver this other project this half year, and I'll talk to you in a year's time. But once you do get that deal, the scale that a partnership with someone like Samsung brings is awesome. And then once we had that scale, once we started working with Samsung on the digital appliances side for 3-4 years, then we were approached with a bit more of a strategic discussion around, do we want to join Samsung? And the decision for us really there was 3 things. The first is people. There's a lot of really smart people at Samsung, and which we saw it'd be great to have those as people as colleagues, because we'd been working with them for a few years already. And then secondly, the partners that they have as well, which are also the people that work at Samsung, are also super smart. And I think the second group is around the hardware scale. I think David mentioned it, with 70% of households have got a Samsung device. It is pretty unique to have that level of presence in someone's life, and that as an opportunity to kind of scale your software across. And then I think the third bucket was also investment. So being able to join Samsung, and they actually invest that kind of level of cash into our product. We had about 30 people working on our product when we joined. We have over 100 people working on our product today, which is pretty awesome as a startup founder, being able to go from that to that and essentially be able to realize our vision much faster. Yeah, I actually love. I think if anybody is thinking of being acquired by Samsung, I'd recommend it. It's good.
So the takeaway here is, if you guys want to get acquired by Samsung, talk to Nick about how he did it, and he can give you some insights. All right, so that's the end of the prepared questions that I had for the guest panelists. Hope you guys had an opportunity to kind of think about some of the conversation topics that we had this afternoon. Perhaps there's some inspiring items that you guys can take back within your organizations, think about it, and see if there's opportunities where we could work together, whether it's with Samsung or some of our guest panelist organizations participating here today. But really appreciate your time. If you guys have any questions, I'm available at the Samsung Smart Appliance booth all afternoon. So feel free to come find me, and be sure to answer any questions that you guys might have. Thank you very much.